My name is Mia. On the night before our engagement, I accidentally shattered the crystal globe Emily had given Ryan. His eyes turned bloodshot as he slapped me across the face. Suddenly, everything became clear. Ryan, I said. Let's break up. He laughed mockingly. Fine. Don't you dare marry me then. Marrying him had been my sole aspiration for a decade. Yet in the end, he became the one desperately begging for this marriage. Crash. The sudden shattering made me jump. Turning around, I saw the crystal globe had somehow slipped from its stand and exploded across the floor, scattering prismatic shards under the chandelier's glow. This was the only gift Emily ever gave Ryan. Countless nights I'd found him caressing that damned sphere in the dark, frantically kneeling to gather the fragments. I didn't notice Ryan appearing in the study doorway. The air thickened with his silent fury. Fix it, he commanded, voice trembling. It wasn't me. Mia. He yanked me upright so violently I nearly stepped on the glass shards. My eyes burned as invisible weights crushed my chest. Whether I did it hardly mattered anymore. You're getting everything you wanted. What more could you possibly need? He seethed, gingerly collecting broken pieces while ignoring my bleeding palm. The crimson-streaked glass seemed to smirk Emily's final revenge. 10 years changes many things. But never the truth, he never loved me. I didn't break it. I insisted, placing bloodied shards aside. His bitter laugh echoed as he threw freshly gathered glass at my feet. Since you can't fix it, clean up your mess. He watched coldly as blood dripped from my hand. Ryan, you'd choose a glass bauble over me? My voice broke. You expect me to believe it jumped off the stand itself? He advanced, eyes wild. Can't even tolerate her memory? Pathetic. So you'll destroy us over another woman's trinket? Years of anguish erupted. Mooning over your ex's junk days before our wedding? How romantic. Who's the bride here, me or your precious Emily? Crack. The slap left my ear ringing. I tasted copper. Loose strands of hair clinging to my throbbing cheek. His trembling hand hovered mid-air as the crystal shards glittered like frozen tears between us. I turned my head slowly in disbelief, seeing Ryan trembling with rage, eyes bloodshot and veins bulging on his forehead. He slapped me hard across the face. You don't have to be either. The force of his blow made me stagger, but I managed to steady myself. Suddenly, exhaustion washed over me. Ryan, let's break up. Over a stupid crystal ball. He'd shattered our future and the last remnants of my love and self-respect with that slap. You want to call off the engagement? He pointed at me and burst into derisive laughter. You think I ever wanted to marry you? I was just pitying you. The blood on my palm had crusted over, but I mindlessly picked at the scab. Then have the guts to never marry me. Don't come crawling back begging later. Fine. I smiled calmly, kicked aside the broken glass shards at my feet, and walked out without looking back. I packed my things swiftly while he stood nearby in stony silence. I could see faint regret in his expression, maybe guilt over hitting me. But I didn't need it anymore. Though this 3-bedroom apartment was technically under the Mitchell family's name, I'd only moved in a few months ago. Before I could even settle into the joy of cohabitation, reality had smashed me over the head. My belongings barely filled 2 suitcases. When the cab arrived, I slammed the door shut with finality. It took me 1 hour to leave Ryan, but I'd spent 10 whole years loving him and working toward our engagement. All just to make him see me. Clutching my burning cheek, I let silent tears fall as the cab sped toward the hospital. After the examination, the doctor prescribed ointment for morning and night use. I numbly thanked him, paid the bill, then found myself standing alone with my luggage in the freezing midnight wind. At exactly midnight, I shakily dialed Olivia. Mia. What happened? Olivia gasped upon seeing my disheveled state. Where's Ryan? I shook my head, gesturing we should talk in the car. She quickly helped load my luggage and drove us to her apartment. Only after a hot shower did my nerves begin to settle. He hit you over some damn crystal ball? My fiery, tempered friend nearly smashed her phone hearing the story. Is Ryan mentally ill? Attacking his fiancée weeks before the wedding? And he didn't even believe you? Unfucking believable. We broke up. Her anger froze mid-rant. You're serious? Everyone knew I'd loved Ryan for a decade. After finally getting engaged, no one expected me to walk away over a slap. Are you sure? She gently touched my hair. Voice softening. Mia. This isn't 1 year or 5. It's 10 years. 10 years. I know. So what? My chest constricted with bitter ache. In his heart, my decade means less than Emily's crystal ball. My love had been more genuine than anyone's. Yet meant nothing. Because I wasn't Emily, not the garden's vibrant rose. Just a weed by the flower bed. But marriage isn't a joke. Mia. Olivia sighed, resting her head on my shoulder. The warmth made fresh tears spill as I stared at our reflections in the dark window, two girls who'd somehow survived their 20s only to find adulthood even crueler. I'm not trying to stop you from leaving. I just want you to think carefully before making a decision. I patted Olivia's hand reassuringly. How could I not have thought this through? I'd made up my mind the moment Ryan slapped me. His words still echoed in my ears, my heart feeling like it had been twisted and doused in salt. He said he only pitied me. People reveal their true colors when cornered. I suppose. All these years of his lukewarm kindness had deluded me into thinking he loved me. Turns out I was just humiliating myself. I stayed at Olivia's place for a few days before finding my own apartment. Taking a week off work, I unpacked both my belongings and my emotions. The medicinal cream had nearly healed the angry red mark on my cheek, a slap delivered with unrestrained force. I'd never seen Ryan so furious in all our years together. He'd always been detached. Even about his affection for me. Maintaining that infuriating aloofness. I'd mistaken it for his nature until Emily entered the picture. Watching them debate club matters and exchange smiles over study sessions. I became the outsider looking through frosted glass. Each tender glance he gave Emily froze another piece of my heart. The truth crystallized, he simply didn't love me. Yet I kept trying. Kept orbiting his world. He never introduced me as his girlfriend. Our engagement existing solely to appease his family's nagging. Everyone saw through the charade. You claim to adore me? Then marry me. My heartbeat thundered in my ears, nearly drowning out his careless chuckle. Now I recognized the pity lacing that laugh. I knew about Emily, the wide-eyed freshman smitten by the elegant senior who strung her along. Yet when she gifted him a crystal snow globe before studying abroad, Ryan clung to that shred of hope, discarding me without hesitation. I'll never forget the night she left. The perpetually composed man became a sobbing wreck, slurring into the phone for me to drag him back to his dorm. At his doorstep, he stared through me with bloodshot eyes. You're decent. But you're not her. I forced a smile more twisted than tears. No. I'm not. That night, I cried until my pillowcase stiffened with salt. My new apartment's beige walls embraced me, a transient harbor. My parents' fatal car crash in high school left me orphaned at 17 with a trust fund and empty halls. I'd nearly jumped from the school roof that day. Then arms yanked me back. If you've got the guts to die. A voice growled. Use them to live. For your parents too. That boy was Ryan. He became my anchor through bleak years. Though he insisted saving me meant nothing. I'd have done it for anyone, he'd say. Still, I pursued him relentlessly until 3 days after Emily's departure. He surrendered. We both knew why. For years, I nursed the delusion that patience might kindle real love. Now, I'm nothing. My self-imposed isolation brought clarity, reading, jogging, nurturing a stubborn weed in a cracked mug. The Mitchell family never approved of me, considering my wealth inadequate compensation for lacking social clout. But their son's refusal to date made me the least terrible option. Ryan of the world don't change. Marrying him would have been slow suffocation. As I repot my scraggly plant, its roots finally finding purchase, I realize some soils were never meant for growth. That evening, Olivia mentioned a cozy little bar with great ambience and signature fruit-infused cocktails I might enjoy. I decided to check it out to unwind. The moment I walked in and ordered my drink, the group at the next table turned to stare. Ryan sat there with his friends. None of them greeted me, they'd clearly been briefed through Ryan already. I ignored them. When my cocktail arrived, I took an eager sip. The rich fruit flavors blended seamlessly with the alcohol's subtle kick, creating a surprisingly sophisticated drink. Just as I raised my glass for another taste, a shadow fell across my table. "When are you coming home?" Ryan asked casually, as if he hadn't been the one who'd slapped me across the face last week. I kept sipping my drink without acknowledging him. "How's the bruise?" His tone softened, but when I remained silent, his patience snapped. "How long are you going to keep this tantrum going?" I laughed coldly. "Tantrum? Weren't you the one who told me not to dare come back? My injuries are none of your concern. We both know whose hand left them." My words visibly stunned him. "Do you always have to be this unreasonable?" He massaged his temples like I was some hysterical child. "You break things and still act self-righteous?" I said nothing, all desire to communicate shriveling in my chest. "Come back this week and we'll forget this ever happened. The engagement still stands." "No." The word left my lips like a dropped marble. "I have my own place now." I met his stormy gaze head on. "We're done." "Fine." His bitter laugh echoed through the bar. "Mia, remember what you said today." He stormed out, leaving me trembling. For years I'd been his convenient doormat, always available yet disposable. Even now, seeing those familiar intense eyes made my heart clench. 10 years couldn't be erased overnight. Real healing required layer after painful layer of letting go. I drained my glass, the burn down my throat feeling like liberation. Some couples last decades only to divorce in ashes. Maybe I should be grateful I'd escaped before the wedding. Time means nothing, true love lives in actions, not calendars. Work became my sanctuary after that. Colleagues expressed concern about my extended leave, but I brushed it off as needing mental rest. That Friday, Olivia's text popped up as I clocked out. "Ryan wants to treat us to dinner tonight. You in?" Hard pass. "Come on. This could be your closure moment." Her typing bubbles lingered before sending the guilt trip special. Against my better judgment, I showed up at the upscale downtown restaurant at 8 sharp. Ryan arrived alone. Olivia was conspicuously absent. "That scheming," I muttered, already drafting angry texts in my mind. We ordered in suffocating silence. The clink of silverware against china sounded like countdown ticks. "Mia, I was wrong that day." His voice was hoarse. "I shouldn't have hit you." "I'm sorry." Ryan had been smoking again. His voice always turned gravelly when he smoked. I bit back the lecture I'd given him 100 times before. What right did I have to say anything now? As I opened my mouth, his phone rang. Watching his stern expression melt into something tender, the corners of his mouth even curling into a soft smile, felt like watching spring thaw winter's frost. He mouthed an apology and stepped away to take the call. Through the restaurant window, I saw him laughing freely in the courtyard. His features relaxed in a way I'd never witnessed. No need to guess, Emily was back. My chest constricted as if gripped by invisible hands. My legs leaden weights. What was the point of confronting him? Our eyes met as I pushed through the exit. His lingering smile told me everything. I hailed a cab without breaking stride. He couldn't bear to hang up on Emily. I finally accepted being the unloved one. Dialing Olivia, I steadied my voice. "Meet me at the hospital. There's something I need to do." When Ryan brought Emily back from the airport, I terminated his child. I'd wanted children, but not like this. Not with a man unfit for fatherhood. Midnight found me fielding his 11th call. "What?" I snapped. "Where did you go?" "You left without dinner." My scoff echoed through the penthouse. "You're seriously asking? How thoughtful of you." "Mr. Mitchell." "Mia." He growled. "Must you always be so caustic?" "I messed up today. But can't you show some grace?" Emily just returned, she had no one to pick her up. "You're marrying into the Mitchell family soon. Must you be this petty?" His words hung between us. I didn't care enough to fight. Grace? Here's my version, we're through. Marry her instead. Problem solved. Graceful enough for you? I traced the city lights beyond the glass. Voice colder than the night. You know there's nothing between us. Why make this difficult? Exhaustion colored his protest. Difficult? My bitter laugh surprised even me. We both know where your heart lies. Ryan. His breath hitched. You begged to marry me last month. Changed my mind. This isn't a discussion, it's notification. Stay out of my life. The dial tone drowned his reply. Days later, Emily appeared for our casual lunch, another pathetic attempt to gloat. Her disappointment at my indifference was almost comical. Some women thrive on stolen affection, mistaking temporary conquests for victory. Pathetic. At my follow-up appointment, the doctor confirmed what I already knew. My phone buzzed with Olivia's text. The test results came. You're free. I deleted Ryan's 37 unread messages. Freedom never tasted sweeter. Watching her slender figure walk away, I couldn't help feeling regretful. Why did such a beautiful exterior conceal such a dull personality? She and Ryan truly deserved each other. Please don't quarrel with Ryan because of me. There's nothing between us. Emily said softly. I'll have Ryan accompany me to the hospital checkup tomorrow. You don't mind, do you, Mia? I nodded slightly. Of course I didn't mind. I couldn't wait for you two to find out. Olivia arrived early the next morning to pick me up. Our appointment went smoothly, and the doctor confirmed the procedure had been completed successfully. Aside from the permanent fertility complications, there were no other issues. As we exited the hospital laughing, I froze at the sight of two familiar figures in the crowd, Emily and Ryan. Their eyes locked onto mine. Ryan's usually calm gaze now filled with shock and confusion. How amusing. What are you doing here? His eyes narrowed at the medical report in my hand. Before I could respond, Olivia snapped. What about you? Mr. Mitchell? Care to explain? She turned to Emily with a mocking smile. The computer science department's prized beauty needs another woman's fiancé as an escort? How pathetic. Miss Johnson. Emily's face flushed as she adopted a fragile demeanor. I'm sorry. All my friends are overseas. And adjusting back has been difficult. Mia. I did inform you yesterday. You understand, right? Since when does advance notice justify boundary crossing behavior? I replied coldly. Besides, I couldn't care less about your affairs. Ryan glared at me with contempt. Stop pretending. Mia. Your act disgusts me. Shielding Emily. He sneered. You're just jealous and using your crush on me to torment her. I detest petty, scheming women like you. The rose-tinted illusions shattered, revealing an ordinary, spiteful man before me. Perhaps my love had made him forget to look in the mirror. Ryan, I said calmly. I was pregnant. I came here today to terminate it. You pregnant? His shocked exclamation drew stares. The lingering anger in his eyes dissolved into bewildered tenderness as he rushed to embrace me. Why didn't you tell me? Why end it? Emily's face darkened while Olivia watched with knowing amusement. I pushed him away. Because we're through. I was wrong. Those horrible things I said, I didn't mean them. He fumbled for his phone. Trembling. I'll call my parents right now. This changes everything. I've already informed your family. His eyes lit up. Is this your surprise for me? I'm going to be a father. I'm terminating the pregnancy. Ryan's face crumpled. But you've always wanted children. If this is about the past, I'll apologize however you want. Everything I did was to win you back. He produced a velvet box. Desperation creeping into his voice. The engagement ring's ready. We can set the date whenever you choose. Just, please, think of our child, okay? I agree. I replied with a sweet smile. Ryan exhaled deeply. Relief washing over him. Before his lips could curve upward, my expression turned icy. You thought I'd actually say that? I don't want your apology. And I'll never bear children for someone like you. Ryan. You're unworthy. The color drained from his face. Humiliated. He snatched my medical report and nearly collapsed upon reading it. You already terminated the pregnancy? Then what was all that earlier about? Entertainment. My laughter rang clear. Since the baby's gone, there's nothing left to forgive. Mia. Is this some twisted game to you? Ryan's voice cracked with anguish. His joy had evaporated in 30 seconds. Replaced by crushing despair. The man who prided himself on composure now trembled uncontrollably. They'd almost had a child. Olivia cut in sharply when Emily tried intervening. This doesn't concern you. Shameless tramp. Get lost. Emily's eyes welled up. Her usual manipulative tears flowing freely. She pretended to storm off, expecting Ryan to chase her like always. But the heartbroken man didn't even glance her way. How could you make this decision without me? Ryan shouted. Desperation twisting his features. Because you'd make a terrible father. My gaze never wavered. Call me cruel? Who slapped me during arguments? Who emotionally abandoned me countless times for other women? His throat worked soundlessly under my scrutiny. You gave me the answer long ago. Ryan. This was your choice. When did you? His ashen face contorted. The night you brought Emily back from Paris. The memory visibly gutted him. He opened his mouth but found no defense. I warned you about breaking up. You didn't take me seriously. The engagement gifts have been returned. We're done. Ryan disappeared for weeks. When he finally reappeared at my office building, his haggard appearance startled me. How are you? Your health, he began hesitantly. I recoiled as if touched by something foul. The man who'd once been my entire world now repulsed me. What do you want from me? He shed his usual sharp edges. Speaking softly, Mia. Let's get married. Let's start over. Okay? For a moment, his figure overlapped with that man who'd hit me in the study. Marriage was impossible. I'm done with this. I snapped. Are you deaf? I said it's over. He pondered before replying. I've reflected these days. You carried most of our relationship's burden. I made mistakes. But it's not too late. We can take it slow. I laughed incredulously. Excuse me? Who said anything about starting over? His arrogant demeanor had completely dissolved into visible anguish. I want a future with you. After Ryan took news of my miscarriage home, the Mitchell family probably berated him. Mrs. Mitchell texted yesterday urging me not to act rashly. How laughable. I've truly realized my errors. No more contact with Emily. Just give me a chance to make things right. His pleading eyes met mine. Please? He seemed sincere. I felt nauseated. You keep mentioning Emily like some pet name. Stop disgusting me. Ryan. When he reached for me, I jerked away, fleeing the scene. Years of devotion had convinced him sweet talking would melt my resolve. Like before. But no one stays foolish forever. For 15 days now, Ryan's appeared outside my workplace daily. He lingers silently, waiting for my resolve to crack like old times. I walk past his hopeful gaze as if he's invisible. Everything changed when he saw me descend from another man's car. As I waved goodbye, Ryan grabbed my wrist fiercely. Who's that? None of your business. I wrenched free. I'm your fiancé. I have every right. White-hot anger surged. Now he remembers our engagement? I don't want this marriage anymore. What more do you want? Mia doesn't need your pity. Panic flooded his features. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. Everything's my fault. I've changed. Please, I've waited outside your apartment for weeks. His signature plea returned, okay? That coaxing tone that once melted me. Weeks? Know how long I waited? I tucked wind-blown hair behind my ear, frost coating each word. 10 years. Ryan. Did you ever give me chances? My words pierced like silver needles. Marrying you isn't my dream anymore. Isn't this what you wanted? His wounded gaze searched my face desperately. No. Those were angry words. I never thought you'd, so you're saying that slap was just a joke? I sneered. Go home. I don't want to see you anymore. Ryan hung his head, as if deep in thought. Hearing this, he gave me a long look before turning to leave. I won't give up on you. Ryan began pursuing me relentlessly. Our entire social circle was stunned. Everyone kept asking what magic I'd worked to make Ryan forget his first love Emily and chase after me instead. People said I'd finally struck gold. But nobody knew this decade-late love had already curdled into something else: guilt, atonement, pity, and impending farewells. Gifts started flooding in. Even for my closest friends. They came to me worried, asking if I'd really get back together with Ryan. I told them to return everything, including what was sent to me. The real shock came when Mrs. Mitchell herself showed up one day, pushing a velvet box across the cafe table. "Mia, why did you terminate the pregnancy?" Her elegant features remained composed, yet carried undeniable authority. "We could have worked something out. There's nothing to discuss. My body. My choice." I pushed the untouched cappuccino aside, reaching for the water glass instead. Mrs. Mitchell's brow furrowed slightly, her tone carefully neutral. "I understand your anger. But everyone deserves a chance to make things right. Can't you show some flexibility? Didn't I give Ryan enough chances?" My gaze locked onto hers, words sharp as broken glass. "I waited 10 years for him to change. 10 years. And how did he repay me?" I slid the jewelry box back across the linen tablecloth. "Besides, I've lost the ability to have children. That ship has sailed." I arched an eyebrow, watching her reaction. "While I was at the hospital, your precious son was picking up another woman from the airport. Does that answer your question?" Her carefully maintained composure cracked for a split second. Ryan had clearly kept this detail from her. If he didn't want me, why should I bear his child? I drained my water and stood, slinging my bag over my shoulder. We both know the Mitchells never approved of me. If not for that pregnancy, we wouldn't even be having this pointless conversation. I left her sitting there with her silent sighs. She knew better than anyone how clear-eyed I'd become. Her son needed a wife to secure the family business, yet refused every arranged match. Mrs. Mitchell massaged her temples. When would that boy stop being so difficult? That Monday afternoon? I was finalizing spreadsheets at the office. My resignation letter already sat in HR's inbox. Ryan's relentless pursuit wasn't just annoying, the constant flower deliveries 7 days a week were tanking my productivity. Clueless coworkers called it romantic and such a sweet gesture. If only they knew. Maybe it was time to leave this city. I'd only come to Northville for Ryan anyway. What I'd thought was a fresh start turned out to be our relationship's death rattle. The decade I'd wasted stretched before me like barren land where nothing could grow except solitude. The irony? For Ryan, this seemed like a brand new beginning. He kept retracing our old haunts like some twisted pilgrimage, trying to rekindle what he'd destroyed. Like right now. When Olivia texted, "Ryan got wasted last night. Wandered to the river. Jumped in before anyone could stop him. Some old fisherman had to fish him out." Olivia's second message popped up, "He's begging me to ask if you'll visit him at the hospital." "Not happening." I replied without looking up from my reports. "Told him you'd say that," came the instant response. "But he insists on hearing it from you directly." I rolled my eyes so hard it hurt. Some people never learn. I just dialed Ryan's number, and he picked up the phone right away. "Hello? Is that Mia?" I was silent for a few seconds. "Yes." He immediately sounded overjoyed. "Great. Mia. I knew you'd come to see me," I interrupted him impatiently. "Ryan, aren't you being childish? Who are you trying to put on this act for? Everyone knows you can hold your liquor. What's the point of this? Can you stop being so melodramatic? I'm really annoyed." There was dead silence on the other end. "Mia." His pained and restrained voice came clearly into my ears, with a hint of a sob. "Do you have to be so hurtful? If it makes you feel better to take revenge on me, then go ahead and scold me. So you do feel the pain of being hurt?" I felt elated. "It seems you don't feel the pain until the needle pricks you." "I'm too lazy to scold you. I just think you're ridiculous." I hung up the phone neatly. Then I blocked him using Olivia's number. And Olivia looked at me with starry eyes. Mia. I've never seen you so relieved in the past 10 years. I shook my head gently. I've been in a dream for 10 years. It's time to wake up. Olivia. I want to leave. My attack seemed to give Ryan an idea. He stubbornly believed that as long as I calmed down, I'd forgive him anyway. But I wasn't angry anymore. You only get angry when you care. So when he showed up in front of me in a sorry state, I wasn't surprised at all. The once handsome and charming man now looked as shabby as an unemployed bum. His shirt was all wrinkled, and a few buttons were fastened wrong. He had a stubbly beard, obviously not having shaved for days. His bloodshot eyes stared at me pleadingly, filled with tears and a palpable sense of humiliation. He was a far cry from the man who had arrogantly kicked me out. I said, "Don't show up in front of me," I said, holding 2 bags of trash and desperately resisting the urge to throw them at his head. He just stared at me blankly. It took him a long time to squeeze out a few words. Mia. I really miss you so much during the days I was gone. Ryan miscalculated completely. He suddenly realized that he had gotten used to my presence. My company had seeped into his blood and bones, becoming a part of his life. And I didn't come back. He finally realized that he was about to lose me. Please. Listen to my explanation. Okay? He finally gave in and asked for a chance to explain. Every day without you is so tough for me. In that room, your scent is slowly fading away. I'm really scared. I don't want to lose you. I don't. He covered his face dejectedly, and tears slipped through his fingers. Just count me as the loser. Come back. Okay. It was the first time I saw Ryan cry. So helpless and so grief-stricken. But I never thought about competing with you for a win, I said softly. My clear voice sounded even colder in the cold wind. Did you just suddenly realize that you love me? My words made Ryan look up abruptly. He said with difficulty, "Yes, I didn't cherish you before. But if you'd told me you were pregnant, I definitely wouldn't." Wouldn't what? Wouldn't have flirted with Emily? He shook his head frantically, trying to explain something, but was stopped by my words. Ryan, you didn't suddenly fall in love with me. And I didn't suddenly decide to give up on you. I've wasted 10 years on you. Aren't you satisfied yet? How many 10-year periods can a person have? No. It's not like that. He frantically grabbed my arm, his voice urgent. The issues between Emily and me were truly my fault for handling poorly. Which hurt you. But I've cut all contact with her. Look. He fumbled with his phone, scrolling through messages. Check everything. I've severed ties completely. I only want a future with you. I silently shook my head. His eyes dimmed, hollow and lifeless. Why won't you even give me a chance to make things right? I thought you'd never leave me. I couldn't bear it anymore. Tossing the trash bag down with force, my venomous words lashed at Ryan like winter gales. I adored you for 10 years. Did you ever truly see me? When did you ever choose me over Emily? My voice cracked despite my efforts to steady it. Slaps followed by sugar-coated lies. Ryan. What do you take me for? Your pet dog? Ryan opened his mouth but closed it. Gaze pleading. I did love you once. But when did that ever matter? My heels clicked as I circled him. Calling off our wedding, isn't this what you've always wanted? The tables had turned. My contemptuous glare now looking down at him. No. Mia. Please listen, he clutched my hand desperately. I've been wrong all these years. The truth is I've loved you for so long. I didn't realize until it was too late. Let me make it up, I'll treat you 1,000 times better. Just give me another chance. I'll do anything. Anything? My eyebrow arched. Then fix that snow globe. His face fell. But. Can't? Funny, those were your exact words to me once. I brushed past him, slamming the trash into the bin. Packing my suitcase felt like sealing memories. 2 months in this apartment had rewritten my life. Was it Ryan I loved? Or the boy who talked me off the rooftop years ago? When did devotion become obsession? That night, I dreamed of 17-year-old Ryan on the rooftop. Crisp school uniform fluttering. His voice still clear as spring water. Did he hurt you? I reached for him through tears. But he remained distant no matter how I ran. Don't forgive him. Waking to damp cheeks. I finally understood. I loved the memory of a boy frozen in time. The man before me had rotted through with indecision. Our circles buzzed about Ryan's frantic efforts to restore some crystal ball. Emily, thinking it meant reconciliation, came preening, only to be viciously rebuffed. At our final meeting, Ryan booked an entire restaurant. Look. Mia. He produced a velvet box containing the repaired snow globe. Tiny fractures still spider-webbed inside where fragments were missing. The best craftsman restored it. See? It's perfect again. I traced the hairline cracks. Some breaks don't heal. Ryan. Leaving the box on the table, I walked out into snowfall. Each step lighter than the last. Even with the cracks, it can still be restored. Ryan looked at me expectantly, desperate to hear good news. So? His expression tightened instantly. What do you mean? You promised to get back together if I fixed it. I held the crystal sphere up to the light, watching fractured rainbows dance through its flawed core. Does it look exactly like before to you? There are differences. But I tried my best. I said, completely restored. I thrust the imperfect globe into his hands. Ryan stared blankly at the web of fractures beneath its surface. You think relationships can be mended like glass trinkets? Exhaustion weighted my words as I rubbed my temples. Even if we married, our happiness would remain this fragile. You lied to me? Rage contorted his features as his days of meticulous repair work shattered between us. What more do you want from me? The crystal sphere exploded against the floor with a violent crash, scattering new shards across the tiles. Exactly this. I coolly surveyed the destruction. I never asked for your grand gestures. You chose this obsession. His bloodshot eyes met mine. Why did you really leave me? To show you my love wasn't disposable trash. My smile felt razor sharp. You are. Ryan collapsed into the chair like a broken marionette. The cracks will always show, no matter how carefully you glue the pieces. What are you implying? That no amount of remorse undoes the damage. The confession burned my throat. Losing our child cost me the ability to ever conceive again. His choked sob filled the room. You'd rather destroy yourself than keep our baby? Yes. The finality of it hollowed his eyes. I leaned closer, savoring my next words. I'll never forgive you for this. Ryan's tear-streaked laughter rattled between us. Hit me then. Mia. He cradled my hands against his stubbled cheek. Hurt me however you need to. Did I ever want marriage? I threw his old proposal back like shattered glass. I pitied you. His flinch fueled me. Prove your strength by walking away. Please. Ryan's broken whisper trailed off as I continued twisting the knife. You murdered our child with your own hands. Each syllable carved deeper. You're the killer here. His trembling fingers clutched at empty air. I drank in his agony. Years of bitterness surging through my veins. Not even Emily's precious crystal balls mattered this much to you. Did they? Can't handle the truth now? I mocked his crumbling composure. Where was this sensitivity when you broke us? Ryan's forehead thudded against the table. My fault, all my fault. Mia. I'm sorry. The raw grief in his posture should have moved me. Instead, I stared at the glittering debris surrounding us, countless fractured reflections of what we'd destroyed. The man was stunned for a moment, then took off his shoes and socks, stepping barefoot into the shards of glass. The pain made him grimace. But Ryan just gazed at me tenderly, not uttering a word. Are you insane? I said coldly. I am insane. If this can earn your forgiveness. It's nothing. Seeing my expressionless face, Ryan gritted his teeth and knelt down in the glass shards with a thud. The glass fragments embedded into his flesh, sweat beading on his forehead from the pain. Blood soon dotted Ryan's feet and knees. Please. Mia. He pleaded in agony, his body and soul drowning in pain and guilt. Give me one chance to love you, please? I can't imagine a life without you. I'm sorry. Please, marry me. I don't need your apologies. Realizing this conversation was futile, I stood to leave. Not marrying was the right choice for both of us. I'm glad we stopped this train wreck in time. Ryan. I'm leaving. He jerked his head up. Where are you going? After a moment's hesitation, I softened. This deserved closure. My flight leaves at 8 tomorrow morning. Clutching his bleeding legs, Ryan forced himself upright. Where? Tell me where. I'm going somewhere without you. I never want to see you again. I walked away without looking back. Ryan remained silent for so long that I'd already exited the terminal when his hoarse whisper finally came. Okay. I'm always punctual, preferring to check in 2 hours early rather than rush last minute. Yet Ryan arrived even earlier than me. He'd cleaned himself up, trailing behind me silently. With preparations complete, I idly flipped through a book. He stared at me with such intensity, as if trying to sear my image into his mind. So, we really can't get married? He finally asked after prolonged silence. I closed my book calmly. Ryan, you know my answer. This city isn't right for me. Neither are you. His eyes reddened instantly. I teased. Crying now? Like a child? You should be celebrating your freedom. When he trembled toward me for a hug, I stepped back. You still care about me, don't you? It was the first kindness I'd shown him since the breakup. Ryan nodded vigorously, wiping at his overflowing tears. I smiled sweetly. But I don't care about you anymore. Though he'd known this truth, hearing it again shattered him. Sobs racked his body. Know what? I really did love you once. But the more I loved you, the more you hurt me. I spoke with closed eyes, voice steady as if recounting a stranger's tale. Could you not go? When I looked again, Ryan had covered his face, weeping uncontrollably. Ryan, you never trusted me. Never loved me. My gentle words pierced his heart. I trust you. I believe everything you say. Thank you. But it's too late. I met his bloodshot gaze. We almost got married. Ryan. We nearly had children. We were this close to a future together. The boarding announcement echoed through the terminal as I stood. What a shame you shattered it all with that slap. Ryan paled, grief-stricken and unsteady. He staggered forward, grabbing my arm. Why are you so cruel? Why? I shook him off. You murdered our future with your own hands. Who do you think is crueler? He suddenly realized. Then, in front of everyone, he dropped to his knees and began slapping himself hard. Smack, smack, smack. The already quiet airport lounge fell completely silent. I watched coldly, such theatrics had become routine for me. Calmly swiping my ID, I wheeled my luggage toward the boarding gate. Useless. At the final moment of parting, I looked at him and slowly formed 2 silent words with my lips. Goodbye. I settled into my new city, surrounded by scenery that filled me with joy. Rumor had it Emily tried going abroad again, even asking Ryan to see her off. But Ryan had locked himself in his room, refusing all visitors. Tragic. Really? Olivia tore open a bag of chips, crunching loudly. My friend says Ryan developed severe depression. Olivia, this girl followed me everywhere. When she heard I'd moved, she'd caught the first flight out, claiming she needed to protect me. Now she plopped beside me, offering chips, drinking non-stop, self-harming, driving the Mitchell family crazy. Oh. My eyelashes fluttered slightly. That's nice. Memories surfaced vividly, that shy 17-year-old boy who'd first shown me warmth. His face becoming clearer as he gently took my hand. I'm Ryan Mitchell, he'd said. What's your name? Meanwhile, in another city, the man slid into a water-filled bathtub. Fresh cuts on his wrists. Closing his eyes, he dreamed of blushing 16-year-old Mia whispering, I'm Mia. The sleep kind of Mia.